joining me tonight is Jess.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome back, Jess. And Mama
Thank
Kay.
you.
Hey, everybody.
No Nicole tonight because since our last show, she has not seen any movies at all. Zero. I think she's watched like half a TV show, and the rest has been playoff hockey and football or basketball, and just her usual YouTube stuff. So nothing to report from Nicole's end. But everybody else, we have some new theater movies to discuss. Jess has a few plain movies to catch us up on that we missed last time, and maybe a TV show or two towards the end. But how have you been, Jess? How was it? How was your time away?
It was good. I got engaged.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. No one's heard yet.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Jess. She just got engaged. To tell us all about how it went down, because the listeners know an engagement that happened live on the show not too many years ago. So.
Oh yeah. That actually happened on the show. It happened in Barcelona. So me and Kyle were in Barcelona on a vacation, and we went to this park, which is like a labyrinth. And we were going to the park. I saw a photographer out to the side, and I was like, interesting. But the photographer was just looking like a regular person. And then we went to the center of this like lake area, and then he said, "Let me get some water out of my backpack." And instead of water, he had a ring, and the photographer captured it, and the rest is history.
That's
there it
awesome.
is. That's awesome, Jess. No, congrats.
Did you have a clue or no clue?
I had some ideas, but honestly, most of it was a big surprise. I didn't think it was going to happen so soon. I thought it was going to happen in the summertime. But he said, we were going to Barcelona. There was no other place that could be better, so he just didn't go.
No, I was to say you're probably not going anywhere better than that, at least this year. So maybe in the near future. But well, congrats, Jess, and on the way to and from. Yeah, and on the way to and from Europe, did you happen to catch any movies on your plane that you wanted to catch us up on? Because
I
got a
did.
Couple here.
So
yeah,
the first one we watched was Taken as an Alcoholic.
Taken as an Alcoholic.
Yes, I wanted to watch that in theaters, but I missed that one. So I was happy to see it was on the plane. It's a Liam Neeson movie. He's an alcoholic. He also loses his memory a lot, which has become a common theme in his movies. So I'm hoping that's not just an intuition that he's going to retire soon. But he's an alcoholic. Actually, let me think what happens. He got a diagnosis that he's been hit in the brain or hit in the head too many times being a boxer or just a general bar fighter in his prior life.
Like CTE.
Yeah, he has that. And then he goes to try to contact his family, and he's kind of estranged from his kids. His daughter answers the phone, and he tries to just get into her life and kind of understand what she's going through. Meanwhile, the side story, he's kind of like a hitman kind of guy on the side for his money.
Oh,
and so,
really? Of course.
Yeah. And so he's doing this dangerous job where he's trafficking women, and he kind of is like, you know what? This isn't good. Let me try to stop this. So
at 70, he's like, maybe this wasn't the right decision.
So I forgot what happened.
Is bad.
He got a lot of money. I forgot what he did to get this $20,000, but I think he might have turned in his boss or something. I forgot, but he got $20,000. He let this girl free, the one that he had like the closest attachment to in the trafficking, and he killed the other bad guys. So all the women were let free, and he fixed his relationship with his daughter. And the end.
Oh. You remembered a lot of that one. You don't remember a lot of movies, but
I think I did miss out on a lot of
details.
I think I did miss out on some more details, but I think that was basically the gist.
Usually you can't remember the plot of a movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like 3 days after I'll ask you, and you're like, I don't remember a lot.
Yeah, that was on the way to Barcelona. Yeah, so...
Well, but by the way, the name of the film for anyone who actually it's called Absolution is the actual real. If you wanted to Google the title, if you Google "taken as an alcoholic" or whatever Jess said, you probably might have more trouble finding it. So it's Absolution is the name of the film. 55% Rotten Tomatoes. Sounds like it's middle of the road Liam Neeson kind of movie, Jess. Ultimately.
Well, I texted you that he's in some comedy or something.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the new Naked Gun movies, was Leslie Nielsen was the original Naked Gun actor. So that's kind of perfect because he was a serious actor in his younger days and then became a funny actor after Airplane, and then they just kept going with it. So
I don't think he was 70 though when Naked Gun was made the first time. Like I feel like he was what we thought was old back then, which was 55. So
he was I bet he was mid 60s, but yeah, he was younger than Neeson is, but looked older, I would say, or at least presents similarly. He I always thought of him as like a 70-year-old guy in those things, but yeah, he might have been actually in his. He had white hair, he had that old man jowl wrinkle. Like you don't get that till you're in your late 60s at least, even back then. But Absolution sounds like a middle of the road from Jess. What other horror movies did you get on the plane? I have a small list for me here, but which one stood out before we get to some more recent movies?
On the plane. I saw, on the way back, I saw 3 movies, which was pretty cool that I was able to stay awake and watch the whole thing. Amber Alert,
Impressive.
Lake Caddo, and Apartment 7A. Amber Alert and Apartment 7A I chose because I clicked on the genre drama, and they both started with A, so they were the first 2 there.
That always happens.
Lake Caddo, I think it might have been C. I don't know how that went. Yeah, I don't know how that one came, but I saw Lake Caddo too.
And Lake Caddo as well. So Amber Alert, Lake Caddo, and Apartment 7A, all new films. It looks like 2024, so moderately new. Did any of them stand out? Do you remember much from any of? Yeah,
I actually liked all of them, so I give all of them a thumbs up. Amber Alert is Hayden Panettiere. So I thought on the movie cover it was that girl that was in what's her name? Frances Pugh, or is that her name?
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. I thought it was her on the movie cover, but it was actually Hayden Panettiere because he had like a similar brown face and blonde hair. But I'm looking at their
pictures, and it's understandable mix up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was her, but I also like Hayden Panettiere, so no foul there. I liked this. I don't know if you guys, well, Mama K, you would like this. I don't know, Brennan, if you would, but Hayden Panettiere, I think, is in a rush, I think, to get on a date. She calls an Uber. The Uber cancels. She calls another Uber. And he's like, no, I think she saw an Uber drop someone off, and she's like, hey, can I get a ride with you? I really need to get somewhere. And he's like, no, this is my last ride. I'm done. And she's like, I'm in a big rush. I'll just give you a big tip. And he's like, okay, fine. So they go on in the Uber. Meanwhile, a different story. This mom is watching her 3 kids, and she just is talking to her mom, and one of the kids gets away and is taken in the car with a stranger. And the way that the mom knows is she was taking a picture of her mom, and in the background, she saw her kid, like, getting taken in this car. So she immediately goes to the police and is like, this black Toyota Camry took my daughter at this location. I don't know what to do. So they send out an Amber Alert that's basically just black Toyota Camry takes a kid. And every single person is calling in the area because it's the most common car. Right. Now back to the other story. Hayden Panettiere and this Uber driver are driving to this location, and then they get the Amber Alert, and they see this black Toyota Camry. And they call it in, and they said, oh, some guy already called it in, like, we think we have the person. And then Hayden Panettiere was not convinced because this guy was acting extra suspicious. They followed him, and he was on a high-speed chase, so they, like, followed him. He went through red lights and was going really fast, and they caught up with him, and they're trying to act casual because he stopped in this remote area, and they were acting like they had car troubles. But Hayden Panettiere saw him, was like, no, this guy is acting crazy. He's acting suspicious. Something's going on. She approached the car, and she saw the girl, and then she calls back and was like, I know that someone called in, but I promise you, like, I think you might have had the wrong person. And her intuition was that guy called in and reported it as someone else. And that guy was a kidnapper. So he, like, told the police that to get him off of her tail. Turns out she was right. So they,
She's smart.
so they follow her. They follow him even more. They got his license plate. They call back to the police, and they got his address. And so she follows him to his house, which was completely messy, like deranged. And they found all this, like, child abuse, like, multiple, like, little girls had been there before, found, like, all these creepy things about them, cages and stuff. So Hayden Panettiere found the girl, tried to save her, and the Uber driver is still there. And now they're kind of, like, being flirty, so now they've got this, like, little romantic connection. And in the end story, I think the Uber driver Hayden Panettiere gets shot, but she ends up surviving. And they rescued the girl, and that's it.
Wow. That was, again, you're remembering all...
And yeah, they got the kidnapper. He's extremely creepy, so they got him. So I think, Mama K, you'd like it. I think Brennan might be like, but it was good.
It looks like it's like a cat and mouse chasing him around kind of movie, I think.
If you like true crime and stuff, you probably would think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, apartment 7A. The girl from Ozark. What's her name? The girl with blonde curly hair.
Apartment 7A with the Ozark.
The Ozark girl.
Looking at the cast here, we got Julia Garner, Diane West. That's an old lady. Amy Lesson. I have not seen it. Have you seen Ozark, Mom? Okay, I don't know this. I don't know.
I've only seen a couple episodes, but it was like really weird.
I know,
like,
so have I.
Season 2.
But this girl, this girl.
6.
Okay, it is Julia Gardner. So this girl, is a dancer, and she was from a small town in like the South, and her dream was to go to New York City to be a dancer. So she's doing rehearsals for all these different theater shows. And during one of her rehearsals, she falls and, like, severely breaks her ankle. Despite having a severe injury, she keeps trying, but no one's going to hire her because her ankle's hurt. So she is really determined to be in this one show. She knows where the producer lives, and she hangs out in his apartment area trying to, like, one-on-one talk to him. She goes up to his... I think she meets this... Oh, okay, never mind. She ends up getting drunk with her friend because I think she was discouraged. She was found in the middle of New York City on the ground, and this nice couple, like, picked her up and, like, took her to their apartment, and she spent the night there. She kind of told them what happened, and they were like, oh, yeah, we know this guy. We actually live in the same complex as him. So... No. So I think she passed out near the apartment, so it wasn't as weird because I think she was on her way to see him after she drank a lot. So they take care of her, and then they were like, you know what? Like, we're about to move out of this apartment. You can have it. Like, you're really struggling here, and we really want to help you. So you can, like, live in our apartment for the summer. And she was like, all right, that's crazy, but I'll take you up on an offer because I don't really have any money right now, and you guys are just being so nice. So she ends up living in the apartment, and she goes... And then she runs into the producer, and then he ends up drugging her, or she drinks a lot, and she ends up hooking up with him. And so he gives her a part in the show, so she's happy about that. She's made fun of because everyone kind of already knows that they're hooking up. Then
what is the tone of this movie? Is it like is it like dramatic? Is it like scary? Is it like... It's hard for me to picture. There's scary parts,
but it's mostly dramatic. I think it's also based in like the 40s, so it looks kind of old fashioned too.
Kind of noir. Okay, I'm following. I was trying to figure out like what is the mood during all this, because you can play this pretty funny, but you could also play this like very deadly, scary, and serious. So like I didn't really know, but okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. She then meets so the couple that gave her the apartment. She goes to their party and meets a friend who gave her this like witchy ailment that completely fixed her ankle. It was like some sort of cream, and it just magically fixed her ankle. So now she's like kind of back to normal. In the apartment, she finds like a shoe of another girl, And she's like, that's weird. And they're like, oh, that was our other tenant that, we gave her the apartment too, but ended up not working out. So I think just weird things started. Yeah. So I think weird things started going on.
It's getting dark.
And, and then she gets pregnant from when she hooked up with that guy. And she's debating what she's going to do. The couple's like, please keep the baby. Like, we've been wanting to have a baby for so long, but like, we're older now and we're never able to. Like, we'll totally take the baby from you, like, once the baby's born and we'll take care of it, but like, please have the baby. And she's torn because she's like, I don't really want a kid. My whole life is dancing. I love dancing. This is like what I wanted to do. I can't be pregnant. So she goes to try to get an abortion and they find out this baby is like demonic. And, like, she's just trying to get an abortion, and, like, it just bites back.
I'm seeing now it's an adaptation of Rosemary's Baby, so all of this continues to line up as you explain it.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
And the baby fights back, and so I think then she's, like, really suspicious, like, what the hell is going on?
I like that.
So
I'm gonna abort you.
She goes to the library or something and researches that girl whose name was on the shoe, and finds out that she just disappeared or got hit by a bus, and she's like, oh shit, like what's going on? So I think she goes back and approaches everyone, and then kind of finds out like they're all Satan people, and they during that night she hooked up with that guy, they impregnated her, and now she's like the mother of Satan, and she's like, fuck, well now what do I do? And I can't live this life. And they're trying to convince her like, you can do it, like, we believe in you, like, it's never worked out before, but, like, you're number one, this is the role that you're meant to be. And at the end, she's at this party, and she's kind of embracing it while everyone's telling her to please have this baby so we can have, like, a baby Satan. And she's going on with it until, like, she's dancing, and then she just, like, gracefully just jumps out the window and dies. The end.
That is... Huh. I probably wasn't gonna catch up on that one, so that's gonna work.
Yeah, that's okay that the spoilers there. That wasn't gonna happen.
Oh no, but we're doing book report style, so this one was also a recommend.
I liked it. I think I liked Amber Alert better, but it still kept my attention the whole time. So I liked Apartment 7A.
Well, let's wrap up with Lake Caddo or Caddo Lake. I'm seeing Caddo Lake is the title here.
And, makes sense because it starts with the C, and that was probably in the drama section.
Under C.
Yeah, I'm seeing here, when an 8-year-old girl mysteriously vanishes, a series of past deaths and disappearances start to link together forever, altering a broken family's history. Caddo Lake.
This one was pretty confusing. I still had a hard time thinking about it because, I guess, spoiler alert, there's a lot of time traveling going on. So it was a little hard to piece together. So let me do this one in less detail. So there's 2 backstories going on. One about, I don't know, this might be kind of fuzzy. Let me think. This girl goes on a lake. She has a bad relationship with her mom, but she loves her little stepsister. She goes out back to college. Her mom, because she got in a fight with her mom. And then the stepsister follows her. And when the girl came back, her mom's like, the stepsister's missing. Like, we need to go on a big search. So there's a big search trying to find the stepsister, and they can't find where she went, but she took the boat off, and no one knows where she is. Second story is, this guy is working on a dam. Shit, I can't remember, like, what and his mom, died because of a seizure, and he's been it's been racking his brain because she doesn't think that she was correctly diagnosed. So that's always been a trouble that he couldn't figure out, like, what was wrong with her. And then going back to the first story, the girl that went to college and then came back and her stepsister was gone. While she's, like, going on the boat back and forth, she finds out when she goes in this specific spot that she time travels because she went through these trees in the boat, and she found that it was a few days before the sister left, and she's like, wait, what's going on? Like, the boat's here, my sister's here, I don't get it. It wasn't until she put together that when she goes in this area, because I think she found, like, one of her sister's, like, items during that area, and she was like, wait, what's going on? And then she kind of puts together, and she's like, oh shit, if I go through this area, I get jumped back at a specific time. So and she's also been troubled because she gets in fights with her mom, and she never knew who her dad was. And she's always like, if I just live with my dad, or if I had a dad, things will be better, but it's all your fault I don't have a dad. So she goes back in time, and she finds her mom, who's now a teenager. And this is so hard to explain because this is time traveling. The mom, who's a teenager, is in a fight with the guy. It ends up being the guy in the other part of the plot. And I don't know. I can't explain it.
No, that's good. Wait, that you could leave the end for interpretation. We don't have to give the whole thing if you don't have it down. Yeah,
it's just hard to explain because of the time traveling thing. But basically, end story is the sister ends up being that guy's mom, and when they're both time traveling, she kind of pieces together, and her dad is that guy. And he was trying to get to her while they were time traveling. And he didn't actually leave her. He was trying to find her. And they got messed up in the time travelness.
Oh.
I think if I saw it, I would understand what was going on. But as you explained it, I can understand that if the execution is not perfect, that it can be confusing. It's got a...
Yeah, I was even still kind of confusing. It's like just the way the time traveling worked and stuff. But that was it. I
like this rank third out of these three movies, or out of you got 4 plane movies here. Rank the 4. You got drunk Liam Neeson. You got 7A Baby. You got this one, and then what was the other one? All right,
Amber Alert. 1, Lake Caddo 2, Taken as an Alcoholic 3, Apartment 784.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but all of them are soft to decent recommends.
I think Amber Alert is probably a stronger recommend. It's for those audience that like true crime and stuff. I think that you guys would really like it. Lake Caddo, like, had me thinking about time traveling for a while. Like, I was probably thinking about an hour. Like, wait, how can this person be related to this person at this point in time?
That's pretty good.
Brennan, you might need to watch it so you can better explain.
I'm seeing it's on. It looks like it's on. It looks like it's on Max, so I do have access to it. So maybe in our next show, I'll let you know my take on Caddo Lake. It sounds like out of the 4 you described, I think that's probably the one I would get the most out of, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Apartment 7A, I think I could do without, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was, like, pretty good.
Well, thank you, Jess, for catching us up with what we missed out on you for last time. And now,
so if you're going on an airplane and click on the genre section, you're going to see these movies there.
Oh, yeah.
Or check on the genre drama. Yeah, these are going to be the movies there.
That's what Nicole and I had on the last one. Nicole had like 7 different movies, but she only saw the first 45 minutes of most of them. So it was like a bunch of half reviews on a bunch of 2024 movies. And there were some good ones in there. But it sounds like you had better luck actually overall. So there's Jess catching us up with the plane movies. Nice. Mama K, why don't we switch over to you with, I think we got a lot of newer movies to talk about, but I think the newest thing to talk about is the oldest thing to talk about. It's the 8th, 9th, 20th Mission Impossible movie. It's Mission Impossible.
Well, it's the final
reckoning.
Yeah,
Mission
the final
reckoning.
Right.
So I haven't caught up with this one yet. I was catching up with a few different movies we'll talk about shortly this weekend. But Mama K, what did you think of this latest Mission Impossible?
Yeah, so Final Reckoning takes, last year we got Dead Reckoning, which was the first part of this sort of 2-parter situation. And it picks up right where the other one left off, and it kind of gives you a little bit, for people who didn't see that, which I can't imagine why you'd be going into the theater to watch this if you hadn't seen it.
Weird move, yeah.
It's, they give you, little breadcrumbs about sort of how we got to the point where we're at, but not in that kind of way, which is good. It's a 3-hour movie. I'm going to start with that.
That is part of the reason I haven't seen it yet, is I literally didn't have time. I had to see shorter movies because I did not have 3 hours plus the credits and the previews and travel and all of it. So, 3 hours is an ask.
It's a lot.
And it's already a second part. You could have just made this a 10-episode TV show, maybe? The Mission Impossible: The Reckoning show?
Well, you really could have cut it down to like a regular 2-hour movie, maybe 2:15, something like that. There was a lot of scenes. I mean, obviously it's a big action film and they're trying to advance the plot of there's this thing called the Entity that is basically going to take over all of the nuclear arsenals of the big people, all the big countries that own nukes. And then the world's going to have to live under the Entity because it has control over everything. That's the premise of the movie. And there's a guy, and the Entity is just a thing. It's not an actual person, but
it's like an AI thing, right?
Kinda, yeah. Only it doesn't seem all that smart, honestly. But because there's a guy that is involved in like advancing this whole situation, and we met him in the last movie. His name is Gabriel, and he it's Isai Morales, who has been working a long time in film and I don't think he ever had anything like this big happen to him. So I'm kind of
because I remember them revealing him in the last one and being like, the way they revealed him was supposed to be. I don't know if it's like. It was conveyed like, oh, this is a big deal. Like, look at this guy. And I didn't know if it was because this guy was a character from the old ones that I don't remember, or if it's because this actor is such a big deal in something that I'm not familiar with. And like, oh, it's this guy? Can you believe it? But like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, he's just like a good looking salt and pepper hair tan man. I don't know. He's fine. Like, I don't know. He's got some charisma, but he's fine. But I the way they were playing it into the last one was like, this is the final big boss of all the Mission Impossibles. I'm like, just kind of a guy. He's a fine guy.
It's a bit of it's a bit of a weird flex, but maybe it's the point where Tom Cruise doesn't want anybody that's actually really big and interesting to do it, and they tap this guy to do it, and he's fine. It's just I just felt like it was a really strange way to go. But so they spend the whole movie trying to get a piece of the Entity, and Gabriel's trying to get the Entity. It's just all of that is going on, and some of the action sequences are just so superfluous that I'm like, I've been watching this for 15 minutes. Like, there's no way people who have superpowers aren't going to be able to like do what they're doing right now. So, that happened a couple of times that I can think of. One was like the very end sequence. We're told we have 14 minutes left until, doomsday, whatever. And I'm like, oh, good. Because that means there's 14 minutes left in the movie, but I'm fully mistaken. Because we have at least half an hour left in the movie. So, a lot of Tom Cruise doing stuff. I don't think we know Gabriel from the past, but they keep hearkening back to the very first situation where Ethan became an agent for the IMF, which I don't think we've ever seen before. So, the situation with Gabriel is what made Ethan get this is your choice, either accept it or go to prison.
If you choose to accept it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and we watched the other Dead Reckoning like the night before, so that we'd kind of be up to speed. And they really played hard on that. Like, this is the guy from the beginning, and he and Ethan have a beef, and there's a plane sequence.
So this movie
at the very
really
end.
leans into him as the big rival. Like, that is the drive. Because I remember in a lot of these Mission Impossible movies, it's about kind of a couple big stunt pieces, but like they're much more. They're like, I don't think of him quite as James Bond, where, like, you kind of think of this mustache twirling villain. Usually it's more about the stuff that he has to do to achieve missions is, like, crazy.
Yes.
That's, like, what you go and see. So I find it weird. And I had heard the same thing, that they are really focusing on this him versus Gabriel thing. And I'm like, that's not really the spirit of Mission Possible, I thought. That's kind of more like other action franchises.
No, this is like a true villain, and that's not generally what they do. It's usually it's usually Ethan versus like all the other people in the IMF, where they're kind of leading him on, and he decides to go and do it his own way, kind of stuff. And that's usually what's happening.
Yeah, I always think of it as him and his buddies are problem solving against like every government all the time, and they're like, I always just think of them as like, it's not quite like James Bond's fighting Blofeld or Goldfinger or something. And then, like, the Avengers fight big villains. But, like, when I think of this franchise, I can't think of another... I can think of guys who were in them who were bad guys. But, like, it's not about them. It's about, like, problem-solving to do, like, these crazy things. He's flying helicopters and jumping off buildings. Like, that's the... Yes. I always thought that was, like, the point.
And that still happens in this. The very final scene between him and Gabriel is on... like these old school 1950s fixed wing planes where they have two planes flying in the air. And that was a lot. That took a long time to navigate. Final Reckoning, I don't know. Is it going to be...
You think they're going to keep going?
One? I don't know what they're going to do now. He's 60.
Does it end in a way that you're like,
I was thinking he's like 72 or 73. He's not even that old.
No, he's not Liam Neeson age. No. He's younger than that.
No. But, they do, they kill off one of his crew in this movie. So you it's like, the writing is on the wall. But then at the very end, you see them all together again, and they've kind of got a new guy coming on sort of to replace the old guy. So are we... Sure, we've been saved from Gabriel and the entity, but I'm sure, the governments of the world are not done with their mischief. So, I don't know. These movies just take so long to make and so much money. And I think Tom Cruise loves doing it, but because he does his own stunts, how long can he actually really, do it? So...
I would say, before we go to the next one, you said you watched the last one right before. I remember liking Dead Reckoning, like, a good amount. Yeah. I liked a lot of the set pieces, and I like the characters. Like, I liked, I wish they didn't kill that actress who plays Rose the Hat. I can never remember her name, but the sidekick, the main sidekick from the last one. But I liked
Ilsa,
the White Widow character, and then Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames are good sidekicks. Like, in comparison to the last one, how is this one? And like, just binary between the two.
I would put them on sort of equal level.
Okay.
You do, because Ilsa's missing. I think I felt that, like, I felt Ilsa, that missing a little bit. And then they tried to the Peggy Carter girl,
Mrs. Captain America.
Is back.
Yeah,
exactly. She's back. Grace, her name is Grace. But I just don't feel like she has like the gravitas. And
they're not going to be able to hand off that baton.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they will. Her big thing is that she's a pickpocket and has great sleight of hand, which helps in the movie. But I don't know that you can use that for.
She could be an Indiana Jones or something, because that's kind of more his style of things.
Something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. They left it sort of open ended. I don't think there was a post. We didn't stay, but I believe there's not a post credit scene. So I don't think we have any more information than what we got at the end of the movie. The weird thing, too, at the end of the movie is, like, they do this a lot in Mission Impossible. The last few people get together. He's together with Benji, or he's together with Luther, or whatever. And it seems to just be like this little wrap-up, like, we're going to have a coffee and then go off on our own little thing. This lasted forever. Like, they kept showing pictures of everybody's face close-up, sideways close-up. I'm like, okay.
Well, that's how they let you know it's the last one, maybe.
Maybe, but it didn't seal that for me. It made me think that if they would have left it just be without doing that, I don't know.
It's like the end of the Fast and Furious movies, where they all have to end with the barbecue. They all go to the barbecue and they're handing out the burnt corn on the cob. Ludacris makes
That's what happens. They have a cookout at the end of everyone. Okay.
Yeah, every single end of Fast and Furious, they have the family barbecue, and they all get together. And sometimes the villains show up because they're friends now, and sometimes they are mourning somebody because someone in the crew is gone. But like, it's always a barbecue at the end with the family. So this sounds like that, but Mission Impossible in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning? ?
Yeah. Final
Sounds
Reckoning.
Like a thumbs down.
I like the movie. It was just too long, and by 2:45, everyone in the theater has to pee. So it's like it's a nightmare.
Who can make it? I can't remember the last movie I made it all the way to the credits without peeing. I almost always have to pick a spot or two.
I stayed. I did not get up and leave.
When we get to a movie later, I made, based on my internet research after, I made a critical error on my peach checkpoint in the movie. So we'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do 2 theater movies that are a little bit smaller that you guys haven't seen before we go back to some bigger things. One is out currently. It has been bombarded on my social medias, but maybe that's just because I'm the target audience of the advertising. The film is called Friendship. You guys heard of Friendship?
No.
Okay, so it's just
it's not on my social
world
media.
That's getting exactly. I think that really is how I always use the show as a gauge because we have 4 different algorithms, 3 today, but like typically, like I can kind of figure out who's going to see what. But Friendship stars Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. I think everyone knows Paul Rudd, but Tim Robinson, if you don't know, he's on a show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave. It's like a sketch comedy absurdist show, and it's in the same vein as like Tim and Eric. If you guys. It's a little bit older, people might have seen. It's just really absurd, anything for a laugh, yelling, crazy sketch comedy kind of humor is his bread and butter. This is the first leading role he's had, and he plays the husband of Kate Mara, and their son is Jack Dylan Grazer from the It movies. Jess, he's like the hypochondriac kid. He's their kid, and he's playing this like loser schlubby kind of guy, but he's still the Tim Robinson archetype, which if you have you guys seen, before I go further, the clips from his show, there's one where it's like a fake bachelorette thing, and the woman's eliminating someone. She's like, I'm eliminating Chad, and it shows Tim Robinson. He's like, why are you getting rid of me? I feel like you're just here for the zip line. And then it's the super cut of him doing all these tricks off a zip line for like 45 seconds. And then it cuts back to him like, I used it a couple times. I don't really think and it just keeps cutting back to him like doing all these crazy tricks on the zip line. That's part of I don't know if you've seen that clip, but that's like the kind of humor you're dealing with here. And he gets a package delivered to him mistakenly, goes down the street to deliver it to the right person, and it's Paul Rudd is the new neighbor, and Paul Rudd is a super cool guy. Surprising, shocker. He's he's a weatherman, but he's in a band, and he's just really likable, and he befriends this guy, and this guy's like, oh, like you have the feeling this guy has no friends, like he's this total loser guy. His wife thinks he's a loser and is constantly joking on cheating with him with her whatever. And they form this short friendship, and you don't really understand why. It's all very absurd and not like realistic per se. And then he fucks up one night when he meets the other Paul Rudd friends, and he fucks up really bad and embarrassingly, like a lot. And then the rest of this movie is him like freaking out about how bad he messed up. Paul Rudd's ignoring him. The other friends don't like him. He's trying all these extreme things to connect to his family, and they all think he's terrible. It's got one of the best, I don't like drug sequences a lot in movies, like hallucination sequences, because I think they get it so wrong all the time. This is a good one. This has, like, if you like those funny drug hallucination things, and you always think, oh, that's not really how it goes. That's a little over the top. This is a very, very funny one. And it doubles as an ad read. There's a big advertisement in the middle of the thing, and it's one of the best jokes of the movie. So it's like a hit or miss. It's very sketch comedy, so it's like hit or miss with the jokes, but the ones that land, like I was in a 20-person full theater. There's some gut laughs. Like this got laughs. So I'd give it like a 3.5 stars. What is the
advertisement for?
Thank you for asking. The biggest thing that people like, you'll get like the funniest movie. This is the strangest comedy you'll ever see. But the one that really nails it, one of the taglines that I heard is it's I love you, man, but for sickos. And that is actually really good. When I was watching this, I'm like, oh, this is super I Love You Man if one of the guys was way, way too far. Like if Paul Rudd were more the Jason Segel, but and like pretty cool, but like a little more life together-y. And then the Paul Rudd character is Tim Robinson, but he's like a psycho. Like he's just so strange and outbursty. But it only works in this specific universe and context. And I can see it. I've never seen a show except for the clips. What do you want? There's one more. You see, he's in a drive-through line. He's like, I'm going to pay for the guy's coffee behind me, just to pay it forward. And the cashier's like, oh, that's so nice. And then he's like, oh, yeah. And then he speeds off around the corner and goes right behind the guy. And he's 55 burgers, 55 tacos, 55 french fries, 55. And he's just screaming all these things. And the person in front is like,
I saw that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm hoping that one of these bigger sketches is maybe you've seen it before, just so you can get an idea of the type of humor. And then the guy gets out of the car. Hey, man, you can't order all that stuff. Come on, you have to. You gotta pay it forward. You're gonna be selfish. Like it's so like that's the kind of like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. You would be. You'd I think you'd like Jess. I don't know if you could get on board with this type of humor. I don't really know if it's your style, but it's uncomfortable humor. But it's I think it's a nice 3.5 out of. I wish it was a little bit better, a little bit more consistent, and a little bit more accessible for like the average person. But it's definitely for people who like absurd, crazy things, and it mostly works. So Friendship, solid movie. Any questions before I move on to a Nick Cage film?
And that's in theaters right now.
This is in theaters as of this recording. And
how did it get in reviews?
89% Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, all the ones I've seen, thankfully, this are all very well reviewed movies. This batch, 7.6 IMDb, 72 Metacritic. But this is a movie that would always do well with critics, I think. Let me see the audience score. Although the people seeing it are probably people who want to see it. 74% audience, so a little bit lower.
Yeah, they were marketed toward you, so yes.
Exactly. Like again, you guys didn't see it on your algorithm because you're probably not the target audience. But yeah.
Speaking of movies that are marketed towards you, I forgot to put one on the list. I saw Another Simple Favor.
Oh,
wait, you saw it? It already came out?
I already saw it.
Yeah,
too.
It came out a few weeks ago. It was absolutely trash.
Okay, hold on. Do a quick divergence to do that because I didn't even know that even came out. I saw advertising for that, but I skipped it because I liked the first one. But I was like, what the fuck else do you do? Like that movie ended pretty conclusively, I thought.
I agreed. The first one was great. I really enjoyed the first one. I've probably seen it like 3 or 4 times. Second one.
Oh wow, you really like the first one. Okay, Simple Favor. You go do a quick tangent because we haven't talked about this one yet.
Mom, okay, you go first.
We pick up where we left off because Blake Lively's character is going to prison because she's terrible, and the Anna Kendrick character is putting out a book based on Blake's life, and guess who shows up at the book signing? It's Blake. Somehow she's out of prison and wants her to be her bridesmaid at her wedding in Italy, was it? It's been a while. I've seen this when it first came out, so...
Yeah, I think Italy.
Oh, this came out in March. My bad. I didn't even realize this was that old. I feel like I heard about this coming out soon. Okay, yeah. All right, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so, the crazy hijinks ensue. We find out that not only that the triplet that we thought died in the beginning of in the other movie is actually alive, and it's rotten. It's really bad.
It's fresh according to this. It's got a 61%. That means
I know. I was
that's shocking.
Telling Kyle, I was hyping it up because I'm like, oh, I really like Simple Favor. Like, I think it'll be good. And we're watching it, and I keep giving it chances. I'm like, but wait, it's gonna get better. And it got so bad. I don't know how it didn't get any. I don't know how it got above 30%. Like, it should have been in the teens or 20s.
I love Henry Golding.
Karen also agreed, too, that she doesn't know how it scored so well.
Yeah.
No, I take
Henry Golding was in the first one.
Heavily,
He's wasted in this one. He's not really in it all that much, and it's a wasted character. So.
I still think he should be Bond. He's still young enough, but they're not going to do it.
He could be.
Yeah. He'd be an amazing Bond. I've been saying it since I saw him, but whatever.
We don't have a Bond yet, do we?
No, we don't have a bond. Not that we need a bond all the time. I'm just saying, like, last time it was coming out, people were like, oh, is it finally time for it not to be a white guy? I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, just do Henry Golding. That's an amazing choice.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen him in anything? Like, he's a perfect Bond. Like,
yeah.
But no, anyway, they want to go with 80-year-old Idris Elba or something, so.
Or, like, Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's going to be the next white guy.
Oh, he's better in small little roles, so I can digest him. I don't think I can take him in the whole thing. But Simple Favor 2, no recommends from you two.
Absolutely not.
Really.
I'm disappointed because I love the first one. I don't know what happened. Did they rush through writing it or what?
No.
I don't know.
Simple Favor 2, I probably will not be catching up with it on this point. And I'll go over this one briefly because it's out of theaters now, and I don't think it's actually quite on streaming yet. It's in that little no man's land for a little bit. But the movie is called The Surfer, starring my boy, Nicolas Cage. A man revisits his childhood beach to surf with his son, but he's humiliated by the locals and becomes entangled in an escalating conflict that pushes him to his limits. So he's this...
Oh, God.
He's in a suit, businessman, shows up in a nice car with his son, who's like a timid little guy. I don't know, Dad. He's like, we're going to go surfing here. This is where I grew up. He's in Australia, but I guess he, moved to America and made a big shop, whatever. We don't really linger too much on that. He goes down to the beach, and there's these asshole Australian hooligan men who are, you can't surf here, locals only, and they fucking beat the shit out of him. And then they fuck his car up, and then these vandals take his phone, and and at any point, in the beginning of this, Nick Cage could leave. He could be like, I'm going to, go back to wherever. He's got his car. He's got everything at the beginning. But he slowly loses his things as things go because he refuses to leave. This is my childhood home. I used to live here. My father used to live on that house over there, and I was going to come back and buy it. And I'm for my son, and we're going to go surf those waves, goddammit. But the Australian hooligans just keep fucking with him. And so it's an hour 40 minutes of various Australian hooligans fucking with him. The cop, the little kids, the coffee shop owner, everybody just hates him, and he just slowly loses stuff. He becomes like a homeless man for a little bit. You start to hallucinate with the character and wonder, was he ever a rich guy with a son? Has he always lived in this parking lot? Like, it's a very strange movie, and it's got some surreal elements, too, that keep it from... At no point is it so bad it's good, or even really bad. It actually is kind of like... It's absurd, but it is kind of good, like, well made, and, like, you're engaged with it. Nick Cage gets to do some weird choices. You get to see him drinking some nasty sink water. That's good stuff. He's going to punch some people. There's a not as good drug sequence in this movie. There's actually quite a few drug sequences in this movie, and they're not nearly as inventive as Friendship. But overall, it's like a 3.5 star Nick Cage movie. I won't spoil the end in case anyone wants to catch up with it. Later on, he has the final confrontation with the Australian hooligan guys. The Surfer. It's 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, surprisingly. I am shocked. I would have given this maybe a 64 is what I would have guessed. But, it's good. It is better than the average crappy, like, straight-to-DVD one. This is actually a movie. So, The Surfer. All right. Let's get to big stuff. I think this is the only movie we have all three seen. I think it's still in theaters. It's a Marvel, as they would say in Friendship. They say that all the time. Gotta go see that new Marvel. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is the new Marvel, and it is starring all of your favorite misfits from prior Marvel movies, and your least favorite misfits, and some other ones you forgot about. We all saw this. Mama K, why don't you take the lead on this one?
Well, they're definitely a band of misfits. And you're right. There are ones that you really like and ones that you're like, why are they even part of this? I'm sorry. There's some people that really got lost in this movie. The girl who's, I don't even remember what Marvel movie she was at in the beginning. Ava? No.
Who?
What's her name?
Oh, the one who dies immediately? Spoiler, one of them dies very quickly.
Oh, did she die? Is that why I don't remember her?
Well, remember when they first show up, there's like 4 or 5 of them, and then one of them gets taken out pretty quick, and then the rest are together for the rest of the movie.
Right. It must have been her, because I don't remember her being... Anyway.
No, I think you're thinking of Ghost, who is a good character.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Ghost, sorry.
Yeah, she's good, but they don't... That actress is from Black Mirror, and again, they are wasting the crap out of her. I can't... Anyway.
Yeah, she's not really... She doesn't really have a thing. I mean, we know... A couple of them have been together before. I mean, this is like sort of Black Widow light, kind of, or Black Widow adjacent.
Guardians of the Galaxy too, because you're getting like,
yep.
These are all morally gray characters. They're like,
villain.
They're either former villains or they're like tweener kind of people. Like, I don't think Yelena was ever a villain per se. We know Bucky already, who I'm slowly coming around on. Johnny Walker,
John Walker,
the fucking biggest loser of all time.
The worst Captain America.
And Bob, our new member, Bob.
Right, Bob. and so we get added Bob,
why
and then
his name Bob?
His name's Bob.
It's just so weird.
It's just Bob. Apparently, he played Bob in another
Pullman,
movie.
Son of Bill Pullman, the great Bill Pullman.
No, he's not.
He's the son, Lewis Pullman.
Really?
I'm looking at his picture right now, and that look in his eyes, it's the same one his father gave in '96. It looks just like President.
No wonder
his name is.
Yeah, no wonder I had some sort of issue with that. It all makes sense now. But yeah, so the Band of Misfits.
That's why you couldn't like Bob as much as you thought you were supposed to.
I know, and you're supposed to like Bob, right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
I like Bob. I thought he was a fine comic relief turned whatever character. I thought he worked.
Yeah, so they're getting together. You know, we went against the Entity in Mission Impossible. Now we're going against the Void, and apparently Valentina is just a terrible person, Julia Louis-Dreyfus character. So, so that's what's happening in this Marvel movie. And so all these people who seem to be like a ragtag fugitive fleet have to work together and, have, I thought, a good team dynamic compared to some of the other teams they've been trying to make us like, think our teams like the Eternals. This worked so much better for me.
Yeah, so you like this one overall. Like you've been keeping up moderately with Marvel. I haven't seen any TV shows at all since I can't even, maybe the first Loki season. I missed the last Captain America because I don't care about those movies. I'm trying to, what was before that? I've been pretty in and out. Like, I'd have to specifically want to see The Thing. And, compared to some of the more recent outings, you thought this was a step up.
Yeah, this felt a little, it's not an Avengers movie, but it definitely felt more like that. And I think the characters gelled a lot better than I've seen a lot of characters in their most recent attempts. The most recent Captain America being a great example of kind of a mess of everything, of how it was made, the storyline, all of that. The storyline, I don't know that having the Void as the bad guy is the best part. But
is the Void Bob's depression? That's what I thought.
I think the whole thing, the Void, I guess the Void is like a depression monster that takes you over, I guess, and then it spreads, and then it kind of spreads from a central point. It wasn't super clear to me how the Void worked per se, but as a movie metaphor, it's like a loneliness, hating yourself, mental illness, trapped in your own head, and everyone hates me, everyone's it's your own self telling you these wrong things, and it's you
living one of your worst moments that you
kind of relive your trauma moments
because it happened to you, but because you're responsible for it. So
that's how you feel. You feel I could have done something, or I should have done something. And he goes to a room where his mom was beaten. Yelena goes back to one of her Red Room training things that's no good. Yeah. Wyatt Russell goes to his wife and kid who he doesn't pay attention to at all.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
We don't get much John Walker before. I don't feel like we got a lot of his character in the TV show although I fucking hardly remember. That's when I decided I'm not watching Captain America anymore. That show, I was I don't care. This sucks. I don't like this sect of.
Oh, you mean Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier. The first season of that is the last Captain America thing I saw, because I'm I don't care about this sucks. I don't care about this anymore. I'll come back for the big team up things, or if it's anybody I care about, but I've said it before. This is the most Earth-focused movie I've liked in a while, because I just don't like
Yeah.
I think that we're kind of past that. Like, we're fighting demons and people the size of planets and gods and shit. Like, I don't know why we're still, like, working with ground level stuff. This, I thought, was a good balance of it, though.
That's the only Marvel that I enjoy. So this was good for me. And Bob is another... Bob's
the daughter and son, Florence Pugh... daughter and father, Florence Pugh and Stranger Things guy. I can't stand listening to their accents. I wish they just didn't have an accent.
Oh, you think they're distractingly bad?
Yeah. I guess they're supposed to be Russian, but I don't know. I don't think they're that great.
Yeah,
I don't
David
mind
Harbour
them.
He's a fine comic relief. He's not the best Marvel's had, but he's not like... I don't think he's like embarrassingly bad as some of... I feel like sometimes they can go really miss the mark. I think he's okay. I think Florence Pugh's kind of a cheat code. I think she's kind of effortlessly charismatic and awesome. Like, I can't think of anything where Florence Pugh was the problem ever. Like, even her worst movies.
I'm surprised she signed up for Marvel, because I feel like don't so many
everybody
actors
needs a paycheck.
Credit? I guess so. Like, I remember Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlett Johansson kept saying they hate it because they can't get other roles, and she started out as indie. I thought like that was kind of her thing, and now she's in Marvel.
Yeah, they see those other actresses say that, but then like once their career's done with Marvel, then it's like, you know, you see, it's like Robert Downey Jr. is coming back on the next one. They're like, oh, you say you don't want to be only known as this one awesome character that you get paid, you know, millions of dollars to play, but you know, once it goes away, a couple years later, you're like, oh, a little older, roles aren't as easy as I thought they were going to be. Maybe it's dip back in the paycheck world a little bit.
And you're going to go someplace where people like you. Like, that's that people like you in that situation.
Yeah, this is a good franchise
you're
to still
taking
be a
no
part
chances.
of, relatively. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, even the crappiest throwaway characters that they mess up, there's even a chance of redemption. They've come back and fixed some old stuff. Like, it's not like you're signing on to something that you know is going to sink you. Like, you know, you're not going to be sunk. Your career's not, except for maybe like Anthony Mackie. Your career's not going to be sunk by a Marvel movie. So,
right.
Yeah, this is. So it sounds like we're all. I was positive on this too. I thought this was the best Marvel movie I've seen in this phase of things. I can't remember the last one I actually walked out being like, I enjoyed that. Like, fully enjoyed that. Not just like, it's pretty good. I get where they're going. It's setting up the next thing. Like, I pretty much fully enjoyed this movie.
Didn't you really like Xfinity Wars?
Is it what?
Was it called like Xfinity Wars? That one that came out a few years ago?
You say Xfinity Wars?
Infinity War.
Like the internet service company?
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity War was like 10 years ago now or something. Probably more. I don't even know. It was
all pre-COVID.
It was pre-pandemic, actually. Yeah, the Infinity and Endgame were... Those were the last blockbusters. I guess Barbie and Oppenheimer have come since then, and those are pretty big. And another movie that's currently in theaters is making a lot of money, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I think this is like, I think it's a testament to the people who are playing the characters and how they really got along, and the fact that Marvel just made a movie about depression and, you know, facing your depressive part of your personality, and you know, they did it with Bob, also / the Century, who's like one of the biggest. He's got the most power, I think, outside of maybe even more so than Captain Marvel. So you're talking about they're trying to go up against one of the most powerful entities. Yeah. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was hopeful. I don't know about labeling it, quote, the new Avengers, because now that's a thing. So. And then you get a post.
Well, so coming up next, Doomsday. We got Fantastic Four, which I think is one of like the stupidest properties they own. But you could have probably said that before Guardians, before James Gunn made it a pretty solid trilogy. So like this is, I think, the fourth Fantastic Four iteration we've had on screen.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And they got Robert Downey Jr. coming back. As Doom, and then that's going to be like the big setup for the future. That could go either way. We'll see what happens. I'm enough bought back in to be like, all right, I'll peer over and see what's going on. But my hopes are not super.
This kind of looped you back in a little, huh?
This was fun. Like, this was just, like, I like Ghost. Wyatt Russell, I think, is a good actor. Florence Pugh's, like I said, free space as far as, like, good stuff. I've had a Sebastian Stan come, like, he's come back around on me lately, and I think that goodwill is carried over into this room. I'm like, all right, I find, like, it's fine, Bucky. It's fine. You can be around. Like, I finally, like, all right, that's fine. You've put in a lot of time and work here, and you got to give him his gold watch or whatever. But that is Thunderbolts. Another movie came out. His Cold Arm. Another movie came out, I believe it's the same week, or maybe it was the week before, I can't remember. But it's still in theaters. I just saw it the other day. It's up to 400 million worldwide, so it's making money, even though it's not a sequel or a prequel. It's not based on some other property. It's not some rehashed crap. Is this not Lilo and Stitch? Is this not what?
Or is it Lilo and Stitch?
No, this is not Lilo and Stitch. It is not Lilo and Stitch I'm talking about. I am talking about Ryan Coogler's latest film, Sinners, which is in theaters currently. That has got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said, 400 million worldwide. That name, Ryan Coogler, if you don't know, he made the Creed, the first Creed movie, the Black Panther movies, and he made Fruitvale Station, which I still think is... Well, I thought it was his best movie until I saw this movie. And this stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan. He plays twins on screen. So we're doing... We just did that with somebody else. Robert Pattinson. He was doing that in Mickey 17. Now we've got Michael A. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
Alto Knight. He played the same character too.
Also in what?
Alto Knight, right? I wrote that down. The mob guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. You saw Alto Knights. Wait, are you saying Robert De Niro plays both guys in both? Oh my god, that's 3 movies where the guy plays the same guy. Okay, well, we'll get to Alto Knights after this. I have not seen that movie.
I have nothing to say about that.
Oh, even easier. Then let's say. Well, hopefully you have something to say on Sinners, because I got something to say on Sinners. This is everything that you're supposed to be looking for in modern Hollywood movies. It is super fun, super well acted. It's when I was watching it, I'm like, there's like Spielberg and Scorsese in this, where like it just feels big and cinematic. And then there's like a John Carpenter-y Jordan Peele vibe, where it's got this like horror, but like clever using things horror, and it's like one of the best. It's the best movie I've seen this year. And it kind of knocked things out of the water. And there's a middle scene apparently where one of the main characters is like a musical thing that's a very big magnum opus level scene that people are talking about that I chose to go to the restroom during. So I'm saying all this after not seeing even perhaps the best scene. Jess, I know you saw this too, so maybe you know what I'm talking about. But before I go over to Jess, Sinners is, I'm just going to read the synopsis so I don't butcher any detaily things. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their Mississippi hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them home. The 2 characters are Smoke and Stack. Those are the 2 Michael B. Jordan characters. Okay. One wears a red hat, one wears a blue hat the whole time, so it's very helpful to tell them apart. One is like a rebel rouser, gets people going, like, pay attention, come to they're opening a new, bar, tavern, dance club thing. Yeah. They just came back from Chicago, and they've got Italian wine and Irish beer, and they've got their corn hooch or whatever the hell they call it, and they're gonna mix them, and they're gonna have them all there, and it's just gonna be for the black folk in town, because it's still segregated times. It's like 1930, 1940 South. And they're gonna have a party, and they're gonna run this place and charge people to get in or whatever, and they're trying to start their own club basically. And they run into a problem from this one gentleman who I don't want to. I know we spoil things, but like, people don't know the big twist. Some people don't know the big twist. I had heard people going into this movie, they didn't know about the big bad thing that the bad guys are, or anything about that. Did you know that? I saw that in the trailers.
I didn't know anything about this movie, so I came in blind too.
Oh, okay. So when the thing happens, you did not think you did not see that coming?
Nope, I didn't see anything coming. This was all brand new.
So what did you think of Sinners, Jess? I've talked enough about the beginning of it.
I liked it a lot. The acting was phenomenal. The songs were good. Like, I think the little brother played the guitar. Like, I would listen to the soundtrack. I loved hearing him. the characters were really memorable. Like, who's the guy with the overalls? Like, that big guy?
I don't remember that actor's name, but yeah, he's, what's Omar right? Omar something. Omar, he's in a bunch of stuff. He's recognizable, but he always used to look... Omar Benson. He looks, because I always recognize him as, like, looking younger than he is, but now he's kind of gray, so he finally kind of looks like an older dude. But yeah, that guy's awesome. Delroy Lindo's in this as well. Delta Slim. He plays, like, an alcoholic guy. Delroy Lindo, great.
My favorite scene is when they're in that tavern, and, like, they're dancing, and it kind of, like, goes through time. And
that's the scene that I missed. That is the scene that I
missed. Oh, no, that's the scene that you missed. That was my absolute favorite scene.
I've heard from everyone. I literally opened up Letterboxd, and they're just like, that's the best scene I've ever seen in movies. I'm just like, God damn it. That's literally the whole thing. I missed the entire thing. I went to the bathroom. I went to get a refill on my Diet Coke. I picked that scene because the guy started playing the song. I'm like, I bet it's a good song. But, like, they've been playing music the whole movie. Surely this isn't, like, the most important scene in the movie. So I went and peed, I came back, and then they're back doing regular stuff. But then I get on reviews later, and they're like, that time travel musical 4-minute scene. I'm like, I didn't see any of that. I missed that whole thing. I missed the whole fucking thing. I'm going to see Mission Impossible
this week. It's not going to cost you anything.
And when I go, I'll bail out in the middle of Mission Impossible, find whatever theater is still playing Sinners in that same complex, and I'll just pop in for that scene real quick, and I'll pop back over to Mission Impossible. But yeah, I'm saying it's maybe the best movie of the year, probably for me, and I didn't even see that scene. That's how much I like this movie. It's a great movie.
Damn. I kind of thought of it as two movies, like before the tavern and after the tavern, because it really wasn't scary the first 3 quarters, and then it became horror the last quarter.
Yeah, hardcore, too. And they go, like, it is bloody and crazy.
Oh.
I don't think Kyle saw the previews either, but he kind of put together they were vampires, and I'm like, this isn't a vampire movie. This is, like, historical fiction. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
They're vampires.
They do give it away in the trailers. And honestly, like, I don't think it's as much of a spoiler as some people are saying, because I though I knew that going in, the movie tells you with the first vampire character, because we're spoiling it now. I'll put a tag in here. The first vampire character comes on, and he's like being burned in sunlight. He has to be invited indoors, and then like the next scene we see him, he's got like glowing eyes, and he's someone bleeding from the neck, and that's before we even get back to the dance club. So like, even though for like an hour and change, like it's like a 2-hour, 15-minute movie, I would say we don't have the big showdown until like the last 30-ish minutes, and up until then you kind of know what's going on, or at least I knew what was going on before they actually literally start doing crazy things. But I guess they do slow build it, and if you didn't know going in, I'm curious if just since you didn't know going in, did you like the movie more when it was like a straightforward drama, or did you like it more when it became crazy?
I thought when like the scary stuff happened, I was like, oh, is this going to be like the movie that was really good, and then the stupid gore happens, and then it gets bad, and then like Satan comes out, and then you're like, oh, it's one of these movies.
Too far. Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby.
I think part of me kind of thought it was too far. Like, I think I wanted to preserve how it was in the beginning, but I did appreciate the horror. So maybe like teeter-tottering towards better or worse, but I did kind of think like, they're just going to fuck this up.
I think then it's okay. Like, that's why I also didn't feel as bad about spoiling this one, because I've heard that same thing from people who didn't know the twist going in, saying the movie is so good before then. Like, you're watching it before and you're like, oh, this is like going to be up. This is going to be a Best Picture nominee. Like, Michael B. Jordan's going to be up. Like, you're just kind of sure. Like, it's that good and convincing. And then the twist comes in, and I can, like you're saying, like, some people be like, oh, it kind of lost a little bit of the thing, like a little schlocky, not confident or just something. And I think, I don't know, maybe you should know going in, because I actually liked it a lot knowing going in, and then when it gets there, it plays thematically very well. Like, the whole thing is colonization, but not just colonization, like a melting pot and like assimilating all the cultures together, because that's what the bad guys doing. Like, we're all equal here. We're gonna assimilate together, and like, but they're really sucking the life out of you. And I think if I'd seen that one music scene, that would have been really driving home the point of like, that's the real soul of everything, is this music transcending time, and these vampire creatures are coming to suck all of the soul out of the literal soul out of the world. But no, I mean, I think because the metaphor is it's applicable to the themes that for me it elevates it and makes it unique and special. Where it's if it had just been the straight drama all the way through, I think it gets lost and forgotten. And if it's not as schlocky as like From Dusk Till Dawn, I think that's the obvious comparison if anyone's ever seen that. But this is so much smarter and like better put together. Like I love From Dusk Till Dawn, but this is like way better than that.
Is the twist that they're vampires? Is that the twist? That's the twist.
Yeah, like you don't. You could possibly not know that going in if you hadn't seen the advertising.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen the movie, but I knew that it had a vampire bend to it. So
okay, see, that's what obvious. I thought. That's what I thought. Is I figured if you had at least heard of the movie, and even if you don't, you look at the poster. It's not. There's not like there's literal vampires on it, but it's kind of red, sunsetty background. He looks like he's hunting something. Like it doesn't look like a straightforward like Southern drama. Like it looks more stylized than that, and it is. And again, I had only good comparisons when watching this. I was just like, this is what like this is what I want, and it made money too. That's what I was so happy about, is that it made $400 million worldwide. So Ryan Coogler gets to make another blank check movie, so he gets to do another crazy fun thing. I don't know if they're going to make more Sinners movies. I think that's kind of missing the point. But at the very least, it shows like, oh, you can still take chances on good auteurs, and they're going to make something not just that's really good, but like that could make a bunch of money so that people keep making it. I was discouraged after like Furiosa last year and Civil War and movies that I thought were really, really, really good and like would play to a wide audience, but didn't make it. And then this one, it seems to be working. So I'm just happy about it. Sinners is a great movie. Anything to add, Jess? Sounds like you're not quite as high on it as me, but you still overall fairly positive.
I agree. I think it felt a little long, and I think I was just the vampire thing just kind of felt, I don't know, just a little slapsticky. But I still really enjoyed it, and for that part that you missed, I think it made it.
I'm gonna go back and see it. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I feel. Yeah, I can't believe I missed that part. There's so many scenes where it's just Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld talking in rooms. I'm like, I could have missed any of these scenes, but I missed the fucking one where like all the stuff happens. But
you do like talking scenes, though. So
I do. No, they were good. That's the thing. Is like everything that I saw. Like I wouldn't cut any. This is a 217 movie. I hate to say it, but I would add more. At one point, there's Native American characters that show up for one scene, and they're so interesting, and I want to know so much more about what they're doing, and then they're gone from the rest of the movie.
Oh, I know. And I
only thought about it later. I'm like, this had to have been a cut storyline, because they show up as like a help. Like, excuse me, ma'am, we've been noticed. Did you run into a strange man coming around here? They're looking for the vampire because like they know something, but because they're the Native Americans, so they've dealt with this before. And then the two people who are in the cabin he's already gotten to them, and they get a subtle reveal that they're racist clans people, so they're not going to associate with the red man. They're like, get out of here, like we don't want you here, like kind of thing. He's like, okay, ma'am, but just be warned, like. And then they ride off into the sunset, and I'm hopeful. I'm like, those characters are so interesting. I hope we see them again. And we don't, unfortunately. But like, I imagine there's a 3-hour version of this movie that has their storyline woven into the main storyline. And I know that it's probably too big and bloated for regular, but I gotta be honest, I would love to see that, because there were parts of the movie I thought were rushed. I was like, this could be longer. This really could. You could breathe in this world. But Sinners, quality movie. Well, okay, you should try it. I know it's got some horror things, but just turn off the last half hour then, I guess. Like, there's nothing really until the part happens, so you can just enjoy the good drama up till then.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see the musical scene in the middle, so, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta see that now. So we were did you have anything on Alto Nights, Jess, while we were talking on theater movies? Because I have one more after this, and then we can do a roundtable of TV, and then head out.
I don't think I have much to say other than your typical mob movie. I didn't pay attention or remember much more about it.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like we've seen that before. Someone's
several
done that
times
before. Could have sworn Robert De Niro played a mobster once or twice.
Maybe.
Well, I saw, people listen regularly knows that Nicole and I don't have Netflix, but my parents were here recently, and they have Netflix, which means for a brief window of time, I got to watch a little bit of Netflix, and so I saw a little bit of TV that I'm going to save for when Nicole's back on, but I did see one movie that I'm surprised Mama Kay didn't see yet, because it seems like I was watching this, I'm like, oh, Mama Kay movie. It's called Nonnas. Y'all heard of Nonnas?
Yes, but I haven't seen Nonnas yet.
Vince Vaughn plays Vince Vaughn. He's got an Italian mom who's like she's a home cook, homeschool, whatever. Old school Italian mom. And at the very beginning of the movie, she passes away. And so Vince Vaughn's very sad. He's got a weird relationship with his brother, who is Joe Manganiello, the good-looking guy. Yeah. There you go, that guy. And he's married to the Sopranos, Drea from Sopranos. And Vince Vaughn's like, oh, what are you gonna do with like the rest of your life? You've been taking care of mom so much, and now she's gone. And it's like, I want to preserve the tradition of the meals she would make, and so I'm gonna open an Italian restaurant, and all of the cooks will be real life Nonnas. They'll be real life old Italian women making their old Italian dishes like their way, not like some fancy restaurant way. And so he buys a restaurant and goes around and recruits these old women, and it's exactly what you think would happen. They run into problems with the building and the inspector and the old ladies. They're really good at cooking, but they bicker and they don't get along. They're from different parts of Italy, so they have little infighting things. But they have to grow and work together. The brother is more successful. He's got more money, so he's got to invest in his brother's business. You don't know what you're doing, Vince Vaughn. You're going to blow all our money. It's like, I believe in this. Come on, Joe Manganiello. I can do this with these old ladies. And I'm going to hit you with my wooden spoon because I don't agree with you. But I'm going to make a mean tortellini dish. You know the whole movie. I told you the whole movie. So they got to do that. It's based on a real story, I guess. I guess there is a real restaurant out there that has a bunch of old ladies cooking in it. So there's some montaging at the end.
What city is it?
I honestly,
New York?
I think it is New York, but I really have trouble remembering anything from this movie. What I just told you is everything I know. Like, as far as like specific scenes, I know they happened. I watched them with my eyes, but like when it's a movie like this and it doesn't stay, I just glazes right over. I just can't hang on to any parts of it. It was a fine, pleasant watch. I think it's got a positive critic score. I think it's got like 81 Rotten Tomatoes or something. So I think it's the case of like everyone gives this 3 stars kind of thing. It was perfectly fine to have on while I was working, which is what I was doing. But it's truly, truly, truly unmemorable. So Nonnas, a comfort watch if you must.
Nice.
So
I might.
That was it for my movies. Mama Kay, do you have any TV to wrap us up on?
The only thing I've seen on TV is that I finished the second series of 1923 and then the last series of Yellowstone. So I'm Yellowstoned out. I'm all done.
1923, and those are related, right? They have the same characters or just the same team?
It's the same family storyline. So Yellowstone is current time. 1923 is the Dutton family back in 1923, and 1883 was the Dutton family when they first came across.
So this is all Dutton family, all Taylor Sheridan all the time, but it's not.
Yes.
But each show is a different period of their strife.
Yes. They meld together like that. There's things that go back and forth, and you understand things about current times based on the past and things like that. And but it's all over. And the character who looks like Hopper from Bug's Life finally got his due. So every time he comes on, both Lloyd and I are just like, yeah, it's so unnerving to see a person who looks like a bug like that. So
Every time I think of that movie, I think of the you don't like Thumper? That one that's like crazed and on a leash. It's the first that movie scared the crap out of me. It's like the first 10 minutes, and they're all just happily collecting their little plants, and then you just hear like this ominous hum from the distance. They're coming! Everyone hides, and then they break in.
Oh my god, that's such a good movie, isn't it?
That's the second Pixar movie, and it's probably not. It's probably I think it might be their weakest of the Elite Six, like their first 6, and it's still like a 4.5-star movie. It's so good,
but it's still great. Yeah,
yeah. I guess there's still moments where I'm saying, you don't like Thumper. Oh, it's so wonderful. I just heard a headphone of mine die, which means we're on borrowed time. Do you guys have anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Jess has something.
So Kyle and I started a movie last night. We're probably going to finish tonight with Natalie Portman and Emily Blunt's husband on Apple TV.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
John Krasinski.
Yeah, so I thought it was good so far. I don't know why I like it, because it is like the corny, like zany kind of movie I probably don't like, but I had fun watching it, so I'm excited to finish that. And then
Fountain of
Mama
Youth?
Kay, yes, Fountain of Youth.
Okay.
I haven't finished it yet, but I'll probably talk about it next show.
Okay.
Mama Kay, I think you should watch on Apple TV, like My Friends and Neighbors or something like that. My Good Friends and Neighbors.
Yeah, that has been on my
really
rec list.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you should watch that one. I'm probably on episode 6 or something, and it's still going on. It hasn't finished yet. That's really good. And I watched the first episode, so I need to get through that.
Of what show? You?
Yeah, the Joe Goldberg.
Oh, the Stalker Show.
I tried to watch that twice.
Me too. Yeah. Oh, not twice. I tried once, but I was like, yeah, not for me.
I didn't like the first 2 seasons. I really, really liked season 4. Season 5, they do what I hate, where it's just like a room or a big house full of like all these crazy personalities and how they interact, and that's been like the theme of like movies, and I've hated that.
I don't know too how zany for you.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll like this most recent one, but the one before this last season, I loved. I thought it was so good, but we'll see if I end up finishing this.
I didn't even realize.
And then
that
that HBO med drama, I'll probably finish it, but I still don't get why people like love it.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about the Pitt, which I think Nicole talked about pretty in depth on our last episode.
Nicole talked about that, yeah.
But Jess is.
I'm not compelled to watch it at all.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was like good for a TV. Like I would never watch it, and like I would like that's not my thing. But like it wasn't like offensively irritating, like a 911 or something like that. But
I think I'm waiting for it to get good. It was kind of like the first couple seasons of House. It was fun learning about like the medical drama. But then once you got into the characters' personalities, like once you got into House's brain and all his like mental illnesses, then it got really good. So I'm like waiting for it to go into the characters so I can get attached. But so far it's just about like my ailment. Here's my ailment. I'm sick because of this, and I'm like,
you might grow to like it then. It does get more character-y towards the end, and then there are a couple big things that happen. Yeah, it gets. I would say for you, Jess, you maybe could stick with the whole season because knowing your tastes of things. But yeah, it doesn't get super crazy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. The Pitt, Fountain of Youth, and you all streaming. So that is going to do our show this time. I think we're going to have some TV next time. It sounds like Jess is finishing up. I know that Nicole and I will have some TV next time. Still stuff in theaters. I'm going to keep trying to go there as long as there's stuff that's justified. This was a good theater batch. I was happy with the May movies. I was there had not been anything for me yet of the year. I was still catching up on 2024, but there hadn't been anything yet where I was like really singing along with 2025, and finally I got something to hang my hat on.
I'll be hitting the theaters. We just found out one of our theaters now has $10 movies every day, so why not?
The Florida retirement special.
Is that a good price?
It's the main retirement special, actually. So
why don't you actually get Regals now that you're like in a Regals vicinity?
Yeah, we literally have no real cinemas like that. We don't have AMC. We don't have Regal. We don't have nothing like that. So.
Wait, in Florida you don't have Regals? What?
In Florida,
Why are you moving to these places?
In Florida, we do. In Maine, we don't. We're back in Maine. It's summertime.
Oh, you're back
so we're
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
Oh yeah, they're Maine, June through November, basically.
Yeah. So it was 95. We left Florida. That's the point.
You're in Maine for the better movie months. Those are the only good stuff.
Pretty
in
much,
the
yeah.
winter is like Oscar stuff that gets re-released. Other than that, it's pretty junky.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty
We'll
terrible movie time when we were in Florida. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, if you guys, thank you guys for being on. If you guys, when I say you guys, the listeners, if you have anything to recommend to us, suggest to us, anything like that, we're always listening, taking suggestions. Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I am Brennan_podhost, and you can email the show with, like I said, questions, suggestions, anything like that. filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. You can also look us up on YouTube. Films with the Women in My Life. All right. Thank you guys for being on this catch up, and I'll talk to you guys again at the end of June. See what this month brings us.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Until next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.